Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today, I'm going to explain the horror movie called Honeymoon. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The movie started with Bea and Paul, newlyweds, making a video recalling their favorite moments with each other. They are spending their honeymoon at a cabin in a remote Canadian forest that belongs to Bea's family. When they arrived, Paul wanted to have sex immediately, but Bea wanted to give him a tour of the place first. The next morning, they woke up and talked about wanting a baby while they made breakfast, but Paul wasn't ready to have one yet. Later, they took a boat out on the lake to get some sun, and then took a shower together when they got back. They went to a small eatery where they met Will, the owner, and Bea's childhood friend. Will aggressively told them to leave because they were close, but Will recognized Bea right away, and they reunited. Will's wife, Annie, then interrupted and said that they must leave. Will grabbed his wife frantically and said his goodbyes to Bea. Later that evening, Bea talked to Paul about how Annie wasn't acting normal and that something might be up with her, but Paul just brushed the topic over his shoulder. Paul went fishing in the middle of the night, and when he got back, Annie was out of bed. He tried searching for her in the house, but she was nowhere to be seen. His panic started to worsen when he saw the front door open. He continued his search outside and found Bea naked in the middle of the woods. She claims she was stress-related sleepwalking when he found her naked and lost in the woods and brought her back to the cabin. Bea has never before experienced sleepwalking, so Paul is suspicious, but she kept insisting that she was fine. The next morning, Bea started showing odd behavior, like she seemed to lose some fundamental knowledge, especially when she forgot to batter the French toast and forgot to mill the beans and actually make the coffee. When they went out to the lake, Paul tried making jokes about Bea's frog story, but she doesn't seem to remember. Bea also had forgotten some words, like married. Paul then got more worried when he spotted bruises on Bea's thighs, and she was suddenly defensive about them. Paul went back to the location where he found her and spotted her lingerie covered in an unknown gooey liquid. When Paul went back to talk to her about it, he saw her trying to remember everyday vocabulary as he observed her practicing future conversations in the bathroom mirror. Later that night, Paul expressed his concerns about the changes in Bea's behavior with her, but she kept on insisting that she was okay. When they were sleeping, bright lights began to shine through their bedroom window, startling Paul, but he was unable to identify their source. He returns to the location where he last saw Bea on the night of her disappearance, and there he discovers the gown she claimed to have packed. He then pulled out the gown, which he had taken from the location, and confronted Bea about whether she was cheating on him with Will, but she claimed that she had nothing to do with him. The next morning, Paul spotted Bea writing something on a notebook, which she quickly hid when she saw him peeking. While on a boat, they tried to rekindle their love after fighting the previous night, but it was interrupted when Paul noticed blood coming out of Bea's private area. When they went back, Paul wanted answers from Bea, but she didn't speak, so he decided that he would confront Will. When Paul arrived at Will's place, he noticed Annie walking out of the restaurant and bringing heavy stuff on a jet ski. Paul offered to help her and slid in some questions on Will's whereabouts, but Annie just told her to stay away because they would hurt him. Paul also noticed that she acts like Bea. Annie warns Paul to stay away once more and explains that Will is hiding before leaving. A bloody baseball cap belonging to Will is found floating in the water by Paul. He then went to the back of the house and saw an open door. When he entered, he discovered pages of handwritten notes with basic information about Annie, including her and Will's names, as well as security camera footage of Annie following the bright lights into the woods. He immediately remembered that Bea had made similar notes, so he rushed home, rummaged through Bea's things, and read the notebook. Bea cried as Paul demanded answers from her, why she went to the woods in the middle of the night, why she was suddenly acting differently, etc. Paul had enough and wanted to leave, but Bea took it inside the bathroom and locked the door. Paul broke the door down and saw her repeatedly stabbing her genitalia with a toilet bowl cleaner. Bea then started acting hysterical, so he tied her to the bed and started asking her specific questions about their relationship, but she either didn't know or gave wrong answers. She then asked Paul to remove a long worm from her vagina. Paul then had to step out of the room. Bea went on to say that she saw the same lights that Paul had seen the night before she disappeared into the woods. She said that at that time, she couldn't see anything other than the dark figures that had entered her body. Despite the figures stealing what's left of her, Bea insists she is still herself. Paul frantically searched for their car keys, but she insisted they could not leave. Paul is knocked out, and she carries him into the middle of the lake on a boat, tying an anchor to his legs. As he awakens, Bea explains that she is hiding him under the water to keep him safe from the figures. Paul tries to escape even after she throws him overboard. The movie ended with Annie and Bea walking into the light.